Well, I want to end talking about Michael Westfall. You're right that Michael says there's more to running than just beating people. He then goes on to say, I realized that when I was 58.
Yeah.
What did Michael change in your understanding of things like excellence, dignity, and community and what they mean?
And Michael Westfall is a hero. So this race, the Northeast Harbor Road Race, when I'm running with my son and we're finishing, I was with this guy, my training partner out there is this cop, guy named Judson, killer runner, right? That year where I came in third, he came in second. And I see this guy. I think at that point in the race, he was just ahead of Zachary. And I was like, Judson's okay, right? He's like running, his arms flailing all over and like circling up, right? And Judson's like, that's Michael Westfall, man. He's a legend. And I was like, well, okay. And then I run with Zachary. Zachary ends up finishing just ahead of this guy. And so I'm like, Michael Westfall, who's Michael Westfall? And I look up and he had actually won the Northeast Harbor Road Race the year my dad had run it. And so I say to Judson, I was like, where's this guy live? What is this story? And so I write to him and I'm like, hey, my name's Nick. I love running. You finished just ahead of my son. I'd love to come talk to you. And so he has this incredible story. He grows up on this island, Cranberry Island. And it's this little island off the coast of Maine. So there's Mount Desert Island, which is off the mainland. That's where Acadia is. That's where I was. And then off of Mount Desert Island is Cranberry Island. And it's got a year-round population of about 50. And there's one road. It's this 2-mile road runs through the middle of the island. And then there's like little off roads and beaches. And he grows up there. And like when you grow up on a little island, like not enough kids to go to high school. His mom has to get powdered milk. His dad like works in Boston Monday through Thursday, comes up Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Mom is like raising the kids in a little house. They didn't have electricity. They're in a tiny island off the coast of Maine. And there's not a lot to do. And so everybody runs. And there's like a population, whatever, 40 or 50, and 7 of them become sub 3-hour marathoners, which is crazy. And so Michael becomes this awesome runner and he runs 229, 228. He's this great runner, wins all these races in Maine. He's also a carpenter, strong man. Like he builds a lot of the houses. There are all these sort of affluent families who come for the summer and the people who live year round. And he builds the houses for everybody. He builds his tennis courts. He's flowing like rock gardens. Cranberry Island's awesome. And he builds a lot of it. And he's the caretaker for all the homes. And then when he's like 49 years old, he gets this sort of shake in his shoulder. And he's like, what is this? I'm sore. And then eventually he realizes he's got Parkinson's. And so then his arm starts to flail and he gets the symptoms of Parkinson's. We've all seen Michael J. Fox. We've all seen the consequences. And at first he's embarrassed, right? He's this strong guy who builds the island. These are his customers. So he tries to hide it. And then he's like, I'm not going to hide it and I'm going to run. And so he learns to run with it, right? And he like ties his hand back with string and he learns how to like handle running with Parkinson's. And he's phenomenal. I think he runs like a 3:16 marathon with Parkinson's, right? In his 50s, right? He comes in like the top of his age group, competing against people who don't have Parkinson's. Like it is amazing. And so when I go and see him, he's in his 60s and I get off the boat and I go up and there he is. And he's like, his arms are flailing all over the place. I brought my eldest son and we go and we drive with him. We get in the car and I'm like, oh my God, right? This can't be safe. I brought my child. And I'm like, you know what? This guy knows this island. I'm going to just trust him. And so we talk about his life. We talk about what he learned. We talk about his embarrassment initially, and then his pride and learning how to handle it. And that quote, it was him describing what he got from running. And when he was young, he just wanted to beat everybody, like everybody, right? He wants to run and win. And he ran 230, he wants to run 229. You run 229, you want to run 228, right? And then once you get Parkinson's, and once it's a little bit like my experience with cancer, but you multiply it by 100, he starts to really fall in love with the community that comes from it and the people he meets and like other people who are struggling with different forms of Parkinson's, different kinds of medical treatments, different kinds of reactions. And he travels around talking to people, running, racing. He learns that he has to run with support because he might fall. It's very hard to get a water cup, right? Like, there are a lot of things that are hard when you're control your body. And he just becomes this amazing runner. He sets the world record, I believe, for fastest marathon by someone with Parkinson's. And he keeps going and going. And then eventually, he can't go any further. He can't do it anymore. Right? He becomes too sick. He goes through a treatment that gives him more control, but he can't really run, except I went out to see him this summer. So 5 years after I first saw him, or 4 years after I first saw him. And I bring my youngest son this time. And my youngest son is also a great runner. He's now 11. We go out there and We talk for a while. I'm just catching up. Like the book is already done. I've written about him and I'm just seeing him because I like him and admire him. And then he's, well, let's go for a run. And we go out and the three of us go and run a mile on that road on Cranberry Island. And he's one of those people who I feel blessed.